Hello there. I've got issues today before I tell you anything else with StreamYard. So I don't know if this is going to work very well today, and it keeps cutting out when I was loading things and things wouldn't load. So we'll see how it goes. I'm going to be talking about living off grid today, the reality. And I have just gathered together some pictures to go with this as I'm talking to you. I've loaded some, I haven't loaded very many. If I can't get them all up as we chat, then I will make a video of this and put all the pictures in and talk more about it. So if we don't get many pictures or footage today, then do look out for a video going further into this. And the reason I thought I would do this today is because if you heard my last live, you will note that we had an issue, and our issue is our generator is kaput now. No good, nothing, finished, dead. And I was saying it's not one of those little generators that you see some people in camper vans use, or off-gridders sometimes have a little backup generator. No, it's a huge one. I will show you pictures of that in a minute so you can see that. We have Steve and Tina Jewell here, and Steve will be putting his link to his channel under this live when I've finished it, and you can all go over and check Steve and Tina Jewell's channel out. Okay, so first of all, I do have some pictures loaded, so I'll bring those up, the ones I've got. This is my off-grid property. And this is looking up the mountain at it, and I'm pointing with my mouse. That doesn't help you, does it? But you can see there, top, middle, that property you see there, that is my rural house in the village is called Stericovo in Cyprus. So we are we're in between all sorts of villages. We're south of Kvidiz, we are north of Paramali, we are central to we're in between Limassol and Pursury. So those of you who know Cyprus, that gives you a rough location of where we are. But basically, we're south of Kvidiz. If you're in Cyprus and you know Kvidiz, we are south of that. We have Twinbrook Acres in the house. Hello to you. And Steve is saying hello to Twinbrook Acres. Nice to see you. Hope you're doing well. I've just watched one of your videos. So lovely to see you. So that is our off-grid property, and I'm going to talk a bit about that in a minute. So this is also a view of our house. This is from the same direction as that photo you saw. So that is what you're seeing in the distance there. You can take those off for a minute, and then I'll see if I can bring other things up. Okay, so we've also got, this is the view that we see down further back than that first picture. So where I took that photo, this is behind you. So the sea is down. So from those windows you just saw, this is our view from those windows. So we are near the coast. You can't walk straight down to the coast. It looks like you can, but you can't. It's a long, long walk. I couldn't do it, and I walk. So there is that. Okay. If you've got any questions, if you're watching it live, you can obviously ask as we go. If not, then always put your questions under the video, and I do get back to everybody. Let's see, I'm going in to see if I can pull some more pictures up for you now, if it will let me. And there's quite a delay, and then it comes up and says we can't get your picture up. No, there's an issue with your file. It keeps saying that, and there's no issue with my files. Let's try another one. It's not playing ball today. That's taking too long to come up. No, it's not letting me again. Nice view, yes. Whichever direction you look, you either look further up the mountain behind us, so you've got mountain views. You look down, and that is that sea view. and you look to one side and you've got a nice bay area you can see, and you look to the other side and you've got rural landscape. So as I say, if I can't pour any more up for you, then I will be doing a video of this as like a follow-up and sharing the pictures that I have got ready to show you. Let's try something else. I don't know why it's not playing ball. I really don't. Pictures come up. Yay! So that is looking, if I'm in my house, looking down to the sea, this is to my right. And the green bit is actually my land. This is part of my olive grove. This is the lower olive grove. This is actually a deep ravine here, just after our fence line. So this bit you can't walk to, so I can't go along here and across here. It looks like you can, but it is a deep, like old dry riverbed here after our land, and then you come up the other side. You can't do it. There's lots of fingers of land, basically. So I'll share a few more pictures, and then if I can, and then I'll talk about being off-grid. Let's see. Just wanted you to get bearings of basically where my off-grid location was, to give you an idea of that. I'm clicking all the time talking to you. I'm trying to find you some different views. I've got a whole file sitting here to share with you. Oh, there we go. There's another one. So that's landscape. There's more mountains at the side there. So there's that one. Let's remove that or get lost where I am. Let me see. There's another view hopefully coming up. Oh no, because it pushes me aside. There we go. So that's more rural landscape there. And let's see if we've got any more views to share. There's quite a few here. And there's no roads, as in roads, asphalt roads. They are mostly rural. So this is the sort of place I go walking. I don't go walking there. I don't remember seeing a Cyprus map with your local area. No, you won't. We are not actually on maps because we're an abandoned village, and so it's not recognised, as in a lot of maps wouldn't bother putting it because there's nothing here. Our village square, if you like, the centre of our village, is just a spring. There's nothing. There's no shops, nothing at all. Okay, let me see. Let's go into another file. So that's views from our house, and our house keeps going back into it. We don't want that. Okay, we've done our home. Now, there is no electric in our property. We are off grid. But if I can bring this picture up, yes, they did put electricity up here. Oh, I can't remember the date. Mike can tell you. A few years ago, they put electric in. Now, when we first came here, we didn't plan on being off grid. It was just a lovely property. We never even considered it. And that's why we've got such a big house for little money, because it was off grid. And at the time, we asked about electricity, and it was going to cost us thousands and thousands to have electricity because they have to bring it from somewhere and we're remote. So we said, no way. Well, a few years back, the electricity board went round to this area and they said, it's come nearer to your village. Does anyone want it? Well, no one lives here hardly. There's three properties, original properties where people live. But they were saying, did the farms want it? Because there's lots of properties about, but they're farmers, they're not their houses, they don't live there, but they have buildings there. So they went round to everyone and they said, did they want electricity? And a lot got together and said yes. And they asked us, and we went, no, we're sorted out now with solar and everything we need. Why would we now pay for electricity? But that was a picture of them putting it in our area. So no, we are totally off grid. So we are on solar, as I said. Let me see. Let's find some pictures with the solar. No items match. I think they do. Wait. Oh, did you hear that? This is because I've got this as a video to show you. Right, this is the solar that we currently have. So this is tilt and turn tracker system. Now, first of all, some of these panels were on our roof. That's how we did solar first and foremost. We had some of those on our roof. Then we heard about this tracker system. And as you can see, they tilt and turn and they follow the sun. And they move to so many points during the day following the sun. And at the end of the day, they automatically take themselves back to the first point. So that is the tilt and turn tracker system. So this is them resetting themselves back round to the beginning point. And this, obviously, because they move themselves, this is the solar system you should consider if you're getting solar. We got more than 50% more solar by them following the tracker, tracking the sun all the day. So they weren't that much expensive either. So that is our solar system. And then for our hot water, I think I have a picture. Our hot water. This is done on our roof. And that, I'm pointing, you can't see, those, that sort of grid thing on the front of the roof, that's where we originally had the panels. But we've left that there. There's no point taking that down. But you can see that tower thing on the roof. That is your hot water. So our water gets up there by being pumped from our borehole, which is like a well. So the water gets pumped up to that tank at the top and to other areas. So it goes to my irrigation tank, which I'll show you later on. Goes to our irrigation tank. You can send it anywhere from your well, but we call them boreholes. And it gets pumped up to there, and that is all the water for the house. Underneath you can see like a cylinder, that's the hot water system, and those two little panels up there are purely to heat the water. So that is how we get water. And this is the problem. The borehole is 600 feet down the water, and this is why we need such a powerful generator, because we use it to pump that water up. Steve says, I just had 7 kilowatts put on my roof. They don't move. Yes, it'd be interesting if you change to tracker system. As I say, we have more than 50% extra per day. It was amazing. We are actually putting more panels in somewhere else, but that will be an update later on my channel. Okay, so that is the solar and the hot water. Now let me show you the borehole. I think we must have just had a glitch earlier because it seems to be working all right now. So let me see, borehole. Now I say well because some people know more what a well is, but you'll see this is it. It's just literally a small, just like a drain pipe size in the ground. That is it. That is it. And that, I'm pointing again, I must stop pointing. That bar across it is when we had to have the borehole pipes changed. So they are like metal pipes, and we had to have them changed. Can you imagine 600 foot of these pipes? I'm not sure how long each one is. Taller than me. Taller than me. Do you have nice water? The borehole water you can use for your drinking water, but legally, if you do, you have to have it tested every few months, maybe every second month. and you have to pay for that. The spring water is exactly the same water, but the municipality, like your region, they actually pay for that, even though it's the same water. You can't just say, oh, well, ours is fine too, because ours is further down the system and something could happen. So we, obviously the spring water was free, so we used to use that. So the borehole, it's not worth using it for drinking water. But yes, there's no nastiness in our drinking water. Steve says, I have grid something, no battery. Okay, so that is what the actual borehole itself looks like. So again, people say, oh, well, you've got your borehole then, that's all free. Things are free, but things go wrong. And as I say, we had to pay then to have the pipes all changed. This is a massive crane that came. I have got a whole video on it. If you want links to any videos of things I talk about, just comment and then I'll give you the URL. And this shows you them, the whole video of them pulling out 600 feet of pipes, basically, and how they do it. So there's a big cost if things go wrong. But the bottom line is, overall, the bills are minimal, some cases not at all, but obviously minimal bills such as the generator needs diesel to run. But overall, even when things go wrong, yes, it's a big lot of money to lay out on your batteries and your solar panels and changing this and changing that. We were quoted €700 for the type of generator we needed. That's a big outlay. But if you'd have put away, if you can manage every month what you might pay towards electric bills and other utility bills, water bills, then you would still be quids in. So that's the bottom line. Basically, the reality is, yes, it's a lot cheaper, but if things go wrong, it's a big outlay in one go. So that's what you have to weigh up. See if we've got any more borehole pictures to show you. This is just basically when they were there doing the borehole, fixing the borehole. And that is pipes. And when they came out, and in the video I show you the condition of them and what happened. Don't worry about the satellite dish. That doesn't do anything. You used to be able to get all TV free here when we first came, all over Europe, all English TV, all sorts of countries, all the TV completely free. And then there was something happened and the satellite in the sky slightly shifted and then nobody could get it anymore. Yes, 600 feet down. Yes. And as I say, if you want the video, I should have linked some underneath, but I didn't have time. If you want the video of seeing them, pulling them all out and how they do it, I've got videos on that. And I will be doing videos on changing our generator because we're going to need a big crane, a big lifter to get that out. That's how big it is. I've got pictures of that in a minute. So I'll show you that in a minute. So I'm going to do videos of that. I love documenting these sort of things. And as I say about bills, we don't have bills for heating. Let me just go back one. Our fire. So the only heating we have in our house is this log fire, not a log burner. And we're lucky enough to have enough trees in our garden that we never have to buy wood. Now we only have that fire in the lounge, and that it doesn't heat the whole house, but that's all we've got. It does a fairly good job. That's why we have a winter lounge, which is where this is. And it's in the middle of the whole house. So that keeps kind of warm. And we built a bedroom off of that room So we leave the door open when the fire's on, and we do get some heat there. So we don't have any heating bills at all. We've got a picture of the fire, a light. And we barely ever have the fire. We have it on a month tops, month and a half for coziness, because our Christmases can be quite warm. So we don't always have it on in December, but I like to put it on for Christmas. And we haven't had it on for a long time now. The downside of that is you get a lot of, I suppose, ash dust in your house. That's a downside, but it's free and I do like it. So that was already here when we came, so that was pretty good. So we don't have bills for fire. And while we're talking about fire, let's give you another downside of living not just rurally. It doesn't have to be rurally, but living some places. It doesn't have to be rurally. I've got a video, let me show you. Is obviously forest fires, and most of them here are people, mostly certain type of people, that's all I'm going to say, that live nearby, that throw cigarettes. This is most of it. And this is our fire brigade. This is how they have buckets of water, helicopters, and where we live, because we're rural, that is our fire brigade. Of course, there's fire engines in Cyprus, but this is where we live. If we had a fire, this is what we would get. Steve says, in British Columbia, Canada, I got a 10-year interest-free loan for my solar. That's really good. It's good when they encourage you to do things like that, Steve. That's very good. We can't get grants or anything like that. Okay, so fire is one, I'd say, bad thing, but as I say, that can happen anywhere. Something else some of you might consider is a bad thing to live, not just off-grid, because I'm talking about as well, I live rurally, so that comes to me as off-grid, but you can live off-grid without being rural. But for me, I'm talking about living rurally as well. So we don't have any transportation at all. These were the original buses that were in mountain areas. They don't exist anymore. We have no buses here at all. We'd have to walk. We're too far that we would even be able to walk to get even a bus. Steve saying for his interest-free loan for the solar, they also got a 10,000 Canadian dollars, I'm guessing, rebate. $18,000 off. That's excellent. But how much did it cost then? It sounds expensive to start with. That sounds extremely expensive to start with, then the price. Goodness me. I'll get Mike to do maybe on his channel the cost of all solar and everything. As I say, we've just got 2 more panels that we're planning on putting on somewhere else that you'll see coming. Now, these rural buses, these were the rural ones, and they used to come up to mountain villages, because I did do a video a long time ago where I said, why do we need what we need now? How did people used to live? And one of the things was, well, how did the people in these mountain villages live without being able to get anywhere? And I brought into the conversation these rural buses, and they would come, I'm going to say once a week, they might have been twice a week, and they would come up to a mountain village. They would load the people on, and you see the roof rack on the top, that's not for luggage, that was for the goats and the chickens. They would put them on the top, and then they would take you to market, and you would sell your wares there and get what you need there. That's how it used to work. And I really love these. There's a few around still. They're not in use as in proper. Sorry for keep I'm in an RM, but I'm trying to load pictures and find them as I talk to you. But there's a lot around, so they use them like just for fun and for weddings and things like that. Now, we also don't have trains. We don't have trains. And I've got this article. I don't know if you can read it or not. And it's telling you about, this was the first and last train. So we didn't have modern trains. I can't read it from here unless I go wide, but then I might not be able to come back to you. And that's telling you about the train. Some places you go, you can see remnants of little bits of old train lines. And I think I've done a video talking about the trains before and explaining about the trains. The good old days, says Steve. You paid 8,000. I still think that's a lot. I'll get Mike to go through prices at some point. Okay, so that's about that. Oh, of course, we get earthquakes here as well, but that's not a problem of living off grid. That's just something else to talk about. And then off grid, and as I say, I'm talking about living remotely as well. But as I said, you can live off grid without being remotely. Steve says that'll be over 10 years interest free. It's brilliant. Okay, so also there's no shops. We have to drive a long way to that, and I don't drive, so as much as I don't want a car, it would be quite difficult. So of course I grow my own things. And you know, I live on an olive farm, and to grow your own things, what do you need shops for? Well, there's a few supplement foods we get, and we have to buy gas bottles. We cook with gas bottles. There's no plumbed-in gas, so you have to get your gas bottles. Again, I'll get Mike to do a rundown of prices, or I might, when I make this full video, go into prices there. And we do cook on a rocket stove. Mike made a rocket stove, and that we just use the big grey bricks you get. That's all we used. And as I've said, we get free wood, so we could technically manage without those gas bottles if we wanted to. What else? Let's show you a bit more garden. That'll be a video. So here I do raised beds. So there's that. And in the background, you can see we're saving bottles, and that's the old pigsty. And we're going to make that into a glass bottled walled building. And I've had 2 or 3 options as to what I'm going to use it for. The back, you can just about see the feeding troughs there. And we had so many old buildings here, abandoned bits of building. So let me show you some more of those. So off-grid is basically, it looks like you like your wine. They're not ours. They're not our bottles. But one of my friends gave me most of them, and we keep saying, do you want to come and see how many bottles we got now? And she's like, no. Sure, says Steve. Sure, Jan. Do we all know where Sure Jan comes from? That's the Brady Bunch. Sure, Jan. So let's show you some more of the buildings that we've renovated. This is how one building was when we arrived. And I've done a whole series of renovating that building. There's a whole series of it from start to finish. Now, I'm pointing with my mouse again. The area to the front, the grass with the yellow flowers at the front, we built more there. And that bit that isn't there now, the grass bit with the thing where we built, that is now where the volunteers stay. If you want to know what the back bit is, you'll have to watch the videos. But what I will tell you, where those wooden beams are up on the left side, and then there's a space to the wall on the left, they were birds. He used to breed birds, so they were like little bird areas there. I think I've got another picture of that. Let's see. Oh, it's clicking. It's making me tired. I think you've got another angle of that. Yes, so now you can see more that there was a cagey bit. Now, after the wall on the right, at the top, but on the right, that was, they had a donkey here, and that was the grazing area, like grazing pen by those pine trees there. That was the grazing area for the donkey. And that's why there's the iron door. You might be able to see the metal door at the back, and that was so it could go on the field, graze out on the field as well. And so that pen area, we also built that fully up as well. So it ended up being quite a big building. Okay, so is that all the renovation pictures I have? Yes, so I have of those, but we do have quite a lot more buildings that we've renovated as well. Now, apart from renovating, you will know I love to salvage. And anything that we've salvaged, we use to make things we want or need. And in recent years, we go to this new, what they call the green refuse recycle area, and it's full of skips. You have to put the right thing in the right skip, so not random skips. So one's metal, one you can see there's cardboard, which is great for my hugelkultur beds. There's material. You take all your glass there and your cans and plastics, and they're separating the types of plastic now, because in Cyprus we're not allowed plastic. It's a different sort of construction, so you have to know that. Steve saying the donkey was transport once. Yes, I said that in the video I did where I talked about the past and how do people manage, and yes, that did come up. But they actually think it's quite cruel these days to ride a donkey. They say donkeys should not be ridden. There's something to do with their backs. Steve saying we're not permitted to take from the bins here. Yes, I hear that a lot, and my American friends tell me that as well, that you're not allowed to take, or you have to pay. You have to either pay to go in and put stuff there, or you have to pay to take stuff out. No, here you can do what you want. If you take something away, they're grateful of it. And we don't pay anything to go. And someone else told me they don't have to pay, but they can only go so many times. No, we can go as many times as we want, but we have to go to our local one. And they always check your where you live. That's the only thing. And we can go as many times as we want. And I film every time I go what we get. We've never come back without something, which sounds terrible. But mostly I get things like flower pots, because the reason I get so many new flower pots from there is I'm sure people go and buy flowers and plants, plant them and throw the pots away. If they've only got a balcony or something like that, they can't save the pots. So just look through my videos. There's so many recycling. Sometimes I do videos just showing you all things I've done with things that I found there. It's a bit of a game. Sometimes I find things and I think, oh, that looks interesting, or could be used for something. I don't know what, but we always use them and make something of them. So I did a couple of videos showing you strange things I made out of things we got from there. Some things need fixing, which Mike can do. Some things don't. We've had some bed covers from there. So many things. Steve says, yes, in the UK, there's a contractor that runs the dump and they charge for the access to the bins. That's how the place pays for itself. Well, that's terrible because people pay taxes to have their refuse taken away. So that is terrible, really is. Here it's run by the government, and the government's really good here, and they always do things. We're a tiny island, remember, so we've got to take care of our rubbish, keep it minimal, and make sure it gets recycled. Hence why these bins are all separated, and they have people, their attendants there. And then you might be able to see at the back right, there's white bits. I don't know what you're watching on, how big you can see. There's old bedding and old furniture. I picked up a super table from there, really big one. Steve says, I guess taxes can be lowered. We don't pay much at all. We pay barely anything. So that's another good saving for living off grid. If you're not using anything, then that's pretty good as well. So yes, I love to salvage. I really do. Let's see if we've got any more pictures up. Let's see. I'm glad it worked because just before I came on, it just wasn't playing ball. I waited to load everything in. If any of you live off grid, tell me what you think is the best thing about it and what is the worst thing about it. So tell me that. I could show you some more views now from my house. I don't know which ones we got, which ones we didn't. Yes, tell me the best thing and the worst thing about it. Tell me if you miss anything by being off grid. What is it? If you don't live off grid, is there a reason? And most people think you can't run things if you live off grid, but we run everything. We even run a swimming pool. So when people say, oh, you can't have much power though, you can have as much as your panels allow. So it depends on that really. Let's see. No, we don't want the video. So yes, the only thing we have to watch is things like things that draw a lot. Now you might be surprised to learn that it's saying it's an issue now. You might be surprised to learn that the thing that draws the most is a toaster, a hairdryer, and I would guess any hair things like curling tongs or curling irons. I don't know. I don't use those sort of things, but they don't draw as much as things like your washing machine or, obviously a microwave draws a lot, but we don't do a microwave. You just have to watch if it's been really, and it's not about sun with solar, it's light. It's light. Obviously, sun makes a difference, but it's light. As long as you've got good light, you've got power. So you would have to watch if it's been overcast for many days. You wouldn't get up first thing in the morning and put on your electric kettle and your toaster and dry your hair and put your microwave on. So you just got to take care. And we've got the room where the battery bay is next to the kitchen. So we've got a window in the kitchen that looks into the battery bay, and the panel on the wall tells you what's going on, how much draw you've got, how much is loaded, how much is being used. So we can see it all there anyway. So you've just got to watch that really. You've got to be sensible. And the way to know how many panels you need or how much like what they give off, because now they're different sizes as well, so you don't need many panels to have much power because they're all different now. But the way to know is if you go to a good company, you give them a list of everything you use, that you'll be using at once. So if you're in a family and there's like 6 of you going to be on your computers all day, and lots of teenagers going to have hairdryers on all the time and all that, you've got to say the maximum things that will probably be on a lot all day, that kind of thing. And then you say what you've got, your fridge, and you have to put things, what the grade of the fridge is. It used to be things like A++ or AAA, but it's changed now. It's a new system now. But you put the what standard of power it is. So your fridge, if you're going to use a vacuum cleaner, we don't have a vacuum cleaner because in Cyprus they believe carpets are dirty. And it's too hot. It's too hot to have that. You want like tiled floors. So you put down everything you use. If you've got an old TV, that's going to draw more. Write everything down. You give that to the company and they tell you what you need. And that is the way to do it. A lot of people are frightened. They don't know how much they need. That's how you do it. Write a list of everything you've got and then make a list saying, well, that will be used all day. I work from home, so the computer's going to be on all day with my photocopier and my printer. And so you just write it down and then they can give you an estimate of what you need. As I say, we run a swimming pool and there's no problem. So don't be afraid of it. Don't be afraid of it. Okay. Oh, yes. So as I was saying, we need a new generator. Hopefully, I did say it was supposed to be coming this week, but we think now it might be early next week. And we need the generator to draw up the water, pump the water up from the 600-foot borehole. And then, obviously, it pumps it up to the tower on the roof that you saw. It pumps it up to there. If you've got a really bad day or several days of dark and you've not got too much power on your solar and you want to do something that uses a lot of power, then of course you could use the generator then if you wanted to do that. As I say, ours is really for bringing the water up from the borehole. The other thing we have to be careful of is our showers, because we're reliant on that solar on the roof for the hot water tank. So again, if you've got lots of dark, gloomy days, then your water's not going to necessarily be the nice hot shower that you're looking for in the winter. Summer's not a problem. We don't want a hot shower, but winter can be a problem. So for my volunteers, I've actually got my profile page that if you come out of season, that's fine. But you've got to realise that if you want a shower first thing in the morning, it's more likely going to be colder than if you wait for the day to warm up, then it will be warmer. So that's something off grid to think about, as well as your water. We do have a electric shower that we can run off the generator if we want to do that, because Mike cannot have a cool shower in the winter, so we use the generator for that as well. We can turn that on if you like. It's our emergency extra solar. And if the solar panels broke or something happened, on the tilt and turn ones that we've got, if one lot goes down, the others still work. Now, somebody we know decided he wasn't going to have 3 or 4 separate ones. He was going to put all the panels on one great big tracker system. 2 problems with that. One, he was higher up the mountain and it gets windy up there. You can imagine this huge system of panels that blew around in the wind. It broke. It stopped turning, which is okay because you can manually turn them, but his is too heavy because there's all those on there. And also because it went down, the whole lot went. Whereas if ours fail, we've still got the other ones as well. So there's that as well. So overall, the reality, as I say, if something goes wrong, it's a massive cost. Oh, I didn't show you the other thing I think I've got as well. think I've got where the water goes. Let me see. I thought I had a picture, perhaps I didn't, of the irrigation tank that it pumps into as well. Maybe I don't. I thought I did, perhaps I didn't pull it up. Hot water, you've seen renovations, salvage, solar. No, I haven't got it, but that was something else went wrong. Our irrigation tank, which is, some people make them into small swimming pools, not the small ones you see in Portugal that are just square. This is a big rectangle one. I wonder if I can find it. Wait, let me see if I can find the file. Might be able to find the file for you quickly. Bear with, because I know where it will probably be. There we go. Irrigation tank. Right, this is the irrigation tank. So this is another area where the water gets pumped into, and this waters our garden for months. It's that whole length of brick. In fact, it goes beyond that. As I say, a lot of people turn them into swimming pools, and that would be a proper swimming pool, the size of that one. And that started leaking, and it was a lot of money. I can't remember now, but there's a video on it, and Mike tried to patch it up, which cost us money. But every time he patched somewhere up, it caused a weaker spot somewhere else. And it was really a big cost. I can't remember. As I say, there's videos on it, the whole saga of it. And then in the end, we found a company that said, because we thought there'd be a paint you could use, and we tried that and that didn't work. We needed the whole lot redoing. So a company said in the end, they actually put like a swimming pool liner in. And then obviously it's guaranteed as well, because they do make them into swimming pools. I've got pictures of the inside. Let me see if I can find the inside pictures. So again, that was a massive cost. Now this is inside it, and those two humpy bits is the centre. And the reason they're there is because it's support, because it's a massive structure. So you've got the same distance, both sides of that is the inside of it. It's got a roof on it, because obviously you have to for legal reasons, because you can get mosquitoes in there. And also it's on our fence line, so the goats will climb into there. See if we've got any more pictures on it that you can see more. Oh, this is from the other side. So this is from the roadside, and the goats would jump over that fence to get in there. So you can see a bit more the length and width, maybe a bit more there. So that's the downside, the reality. Something like that comes along. Most people live off grid because it's cheap and they don't have money like we don't. So then when something goes wrong, it's a hardship, but we couldn't afford to live paying electric bills and everything anyway. So as I say, if you do live off grid and you can afford to, put money aside if you can. We don't work, so we don't have that ability. But if you can put money aside, then when these things do come along, then obviously you're prepared a bit more if you can. But as I say, reality is most people who live off grid can't. So as I say, we never intended to live off grid, and we wouldn't have survived COVID. We went down to our last 30 euros. We wouldn't have survived. I don't know what we would have done. I think we would have been living on a tent on our land or something. I don't know. As you see in the videos where we had the irrigation tank situation and the borehole situation, and it all happens at the same time, which wasn't helpful, then you will see how we overcame it for the short term. You will see what we did. And thank goodness Mike is an engineer. He has that mind. He can figure things out. I think having no knowledge of anything like that, you would be really stuck. I really think that. So, as I say, reality is, would I go back to not living off grid? No way. No way. The downside is, as I say, big things happen. If you can't afford it, you've got to find a way around it, or get another solution, or just go back to off-grid, frugal living more frugally. And I did do a video during COVID when we had nothing. I think it's called something like More Frugal Than Frugal. And I get so fed up where I see channels talk about frugal and they really haven't got a clue what frugal would really mean. Frugal doesn't mean saving a bit of money here and there. Not real frugal. So I would recommend it. I would say get friends with people like ourselves that can help you along and tell you what to do. We didn't know anyone that could help us who knew frugal things, and as in what to do off grid and that kind of thing. Blue was very helpful. Do check out Blue Self-Reliance. She actually helped us a little bit by sharing our story and getting the word out about what was happening to us. So I thank Blue from Blue Self-Reliant for that. And I'm very grateful. We have lots of people give us PayPal now and then just to help us along, or if we've got a project going, just to celebrate that how we are trying to live. So I thank everyone who's ever given or gives in the future. It is linked at the top of under this video, because people keep asking for it and I don't put it up. So I thought, we're seeing as this was to do with it, that will go up there. So totally recommend it. If you want to know about price and that, let me know in the comments and I'll get Mike to go through that. Either I'll make the video on it or he'll do one. And the reality is, embrace it. Don't let it get you down when something does go wrong. Expect the unexpected. Expect the unexpected. So I think I've finished there. Let me know, as I say, your comments down below, as in any questions you've got anyway, or just basically anything about frugality as well. I'm very interested in recycling and living frugally, all that kind of thing. Recycling particularly. Okay, I've finished there then today. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to share this if you've got anyone that you think will be interested in it. That would be really good. And I think we've finished the way we started.